56 men who signed our Declaration of Independence, only one was a Catholic, Charles Carroll. In 1776, Carroll was one of the wealthiest men in America. But because he was a Catholic, he could not vote or hold public office in his native Maryland. John Adams noted that Carroll's wealth and patriotism marked him for special vengeance if the revolution were to fail. That's why when Carroll added his name to the Declaration, one bystander quipped, "There goes a few million." Carroll was willing to risk those millions because he knew that something far more precious was at stake: freedom. He believed that the self-evident truths of our Declaration would lead to religious as well as civil liberty. He knew that in America, where people were free to worship God as they saw fit, would be a land where Catholics would flourish and prosper. And he understood that whatever Americans' failings, our founding promise would always be a source of hope and renewal for our country. And at this breakfast, we commit ourselves to renewing that promise in our time. Renewing the promise of America begins with upholding the dignity of human life. In our day, there is a temptation to manipulate life in ways that do not respect the humanity of the person. When that happens, the most vulnerable among us can be valued for their utility to others instead of their own inherent worth. We must continue to work for a culture of life where the strong protect the weak and where we recognize in every human life the image of our Creator. Renewing the promise of America requires good citizens who look out for their neighbors. One of the reasons that I am such a strong believer in the power of our faith-based institutions is that they add something that government never can, and that is love. Pope Benedict XVI put it this way in his first letter as a pope: "There is no ordering of the state so just that it can eliminate the need for a service of love." In parishes and neighborhoods across our nation, Catholics take this call to heart, and that is why we find so many of you leading the armies of compassion. You are changing America one heart, one soul at a time, and I thank you. Renewing the promise of America also includes ensuring a sound education for every single child. America's Catholic schools play a vital role in our nation. The schools were built by poor immigrants. They were staffed by legions of dedicated nuns and brothers and priests, and they have given millions of Americans the knowledge and character they need to succeed in life. Today, these schools are also serving thousands of non-Catholic children in some of our nation's poorest neighborhoods. I appreciate the tremendous sacrifices that many dioceses are making to keep the inner schools going. I am worried that too many of these schools are closing, and our nation needs to do something about it. This afternoon, I'll hold a meeting at the White House to discuss the difference America's parochial schools are making in the lives of some of our neediest children. We see that difference right here in the nation's capital. Pam Battle sat with Laura during my State of the Union address. She's a mom of two, Carlos and Calvin. A few years ago, these boys were in a public school that was not meeting Pam's expectations. We passed what's called the D.C. School Choice Initiative Act. Many of you in this room helped get that act passed. As a result of that act, her boys were able to transfer to Assumption Catholic School. parochial school that serves almost an entirely African-American student body. Carlos became an A student, the president of his 8th grade class. He now attends high school at Georgetown Day. Calvin is a 5th grader at Assumption, told that he's running for Student of the Month. Something I never achieved. Pam has a big smile on her face when she comes to talk about the education her boys are receiving. The main benefit of this program is that I can drop off my sons at a school with peace of mind. It's safe, and I know they're working up to their level. That's what Pam said. I believe every parent in America should have that same peace of mind, and every school in America should ensure that its students are working up to their fullest of potentials. I applaud our nation's Catholic schools. I will continue to work to help these schools reach more children in need so that our children have the skills they need to realize the full promise of the United States of America. Finally, to realize the promise of America, we must have comprehensive immigration reform that enforces our laws and upholds the dignity of every single person in the United States. And now is the time for the United States Congress to get a bill to my desk that I can sign. Thank you for your fine tradition. I applaud you for the love of neighbor you show through your organizations and your churches. I ask that you pray for our soldiers and their families in harm's way. And I ask that you pray that in a troubled world, America may always remain a beacon of hope and of freedom. May God bless you all.